On a Bible, the most vulnerable point is the hinge. What is the hinge? The hinge is the point on the inside where the cover and the spine meet, which is this right here. And the reason they call it the hinge is because that's literally where your Bible hinges open and closed. That is going to be the most vulnerable point of your Bible. As you can see here, this Bible has become completely detached from the text block or the actual core of the Bible itself. This is the most common repair that we see when we do a rebind. Now, ultimately, the best course of action is to have your Bible completely rebound, especially with this spine here. This is a factory spine. I won't go into the detail here. We'll save that for another video. But it really needs to be completely redone because most of the time from the factory, the spine is not very durable. However, if you just want to get your Bible back on the road to where you can read it, this is a relatively simple repair. What you're going to do, if I can hold this to where you can see it, is you're going to take your repair kit. If I can get mine open, there we go. You're going to open up the glue and take your brush. Now this doesn't take a whole lot of glue. You're just going to lightly dip the brush into the glue. And you can start on the head, you can start on the tail, or you can start in the middle. It doesn't really matter. You're just going to put probably about 1/4 inch stripe of glue all the way up and down the Bible. All the way up and down. It doesn't need to be a very thick layer because you don't want it seeping out over the edge of your pages, because you don't want to glue your pages together. And you want to be relatively quick because this glue does dry relatively quick. And put some here on the cover as well. Again, only about 1/4 inch is all you need. And it doesn't have to be completely straight or pretty, because it is going to be hidden. You'll never see it. Now on your cover, you want to be sure rinse my brush out in some water and just take a damp cloth and just kind of pat it dry a little bit. You don't want to go past the end paper here, because then that glue will be visible, and if it dries, it might peel off part of your cover if you try to peel it off. Now what you're going to do is take your Bible, kind of pull upward on your cover, put some pressure down here on the Bible itself, pull it as tight as you can, and just run your hand up and down to kind of push that glue in. Now, so you don't knock your glue over and spill it like I am liable to, put the lid back on your glue. Now here is where you're going to need the books or the heavy object that I talked about in the introductory video. I'm going to use a couple hardcover books. Don't judge me. I do read faint pretty from time to time. But we're going to lay this Bible down on the book and put the other book on top of it. And if you have a couple, 2 or 3 books, kind of add some extra weight. This right here should be fine. What that's going to do is it's going to hold the Bible together while that glue dries. You want to let it dry no less than 2 hours, ideally about 4 to 6 hours. If you can do this in the evening and let it sit overnight, that is the best course of action. But we'll let this dry. We'll come back to it and we'll see how it looks. Okay, it's been a couple hours now, and we're going to come back and see how this Bible did. So we're going to go ahead and remove the books that we used for our book press, and we're going to see what kind of success we have. And we don't see any glue seeping through over the edge there or there. So we're going to open up the cover, and we were successful. Now you're going to notice the first end page is going to be attached to the cover where we glued it, and that's just the nature of it. And that's actually a little bit better than it was before, because it's kind of taken some of the stress off the actual hinge where it actually tore. And one other thing to note is these Bibles can detach anywhere at the hinge within the first few end pages. That's completely normal. But to repair it, it's the same exact process that we did here. But that turned out to be a success, so this Bible can now be read and opened and closed, and it will hold up just fine for a little while. Now again, this may hold up for quite a while, it may not. This is not intended to be a permanent fix, but this is just a temporary measure to kind of keep your Bible together so you can keep reading it until you can properly get it rebound. Hopefully that helps. Again, if you have any questions at all, just let me know on Facebook or Instagram, or email me at logoscustombindings@yahoo.com and leave a comment in the section below. Thanks, and God bless.